quite incredible game to watch from the stands. What was it like to play in?
Yeah, same kind of feeling back in forwards. I think we are the better team, but at the end we can't keep the lead, and then yeah, it really hurts to be standing here right now with only 1 point.
How frustrating is it at this moment in time for you as a group that this elusive first victory keeps escaping you?
Yeah, it's really frustrating. I think we all deserve more, especially the fans showing up today. We have an error in the first goal, a misunderstanding between me and San, and then we come back, we bounce back, and then we concede again. And I think it's them I'm most sorry for today, to be honest. Amazing atmosphere in the stadium, but yeah, some good positives, but it's not enough.
You mentioned the fans there. On the 60-minute mark, Palace go in front. Then the manager makes some changes that didn't seem to go down well with the crowd, but certainly worked out well on the pitch. Do you understand the frustration at times from the supporters?
Yeah, of course. Every team wants to win. I think we also showed that at times we deserve more points, and I think also today before the error that leads to Palace's first goal, I think we are the better team. So I can understand the frustration, and I think also the guys who played from the beginning and the guys who came in did very well today. So shouldn't be frustrated about the guys coming off. But yeah, at the end, not good enough from all of us.
You're entering into a period that started today against clubs that are not of the stature that the ones you've been facing, like Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal and the rest. Are these the games that are really now going to define Wolves this season?
Yeah, of course. I think we had the toughest start ever, played against some top teams, and the comeback last week against Brighton gave us a good feeling, and I think today we should be standing here with 3 points. But as you say, keep on going, and then hopefully we can win the next game.
Just finally, though things aren't quite going the way you want them, there still seems to be a spirit amongst the group. Will it be that spirit that keeps you in this division?
Yeah, we will of course continue with that spirit. I think the manager does it well, the staff, they're really positive, taking out the good bits from every game, and we just have to keep on working on what's good and not good enough, and the group is amazing. We have quality players, and today we should have scored many more, and it will come.
Jørgen, thanks for your time.
Thanks,
the fans will certainly hope that it will come for them, and as he said there, he thought that they were the better team, but they nearly lost it because Palace thought they'd scored in the dying moments of the game. But this was disallowed, and the rule is that if the goalkeeper has both hands on the ball and the ball is touching the floor, it just doesn't stand. I don't think Palace fans will be a fan of that rule.
No, but at the end of the day, if that's the rule and he's deemed to have two hands on the ball while it's on the floor, I think he didn't have full control of it. You can just see it here now.
Who makes up these rules for real?
I mean, that's deemed to be in his possession, but it
There's
didn't
no...
seem like it was in his possession, really, did it?
Seema, does it look like he has control of the ball? Under no circumstances does he have control of that ball. I can understand if he's got two on it and it's
quite secure.
And it's stopped dead, and then he kicks it away. I'd understand that. There's no control of that ball. It's still rolling. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous rule, honestly.
He actually loses control of the ball, so he does have it, and then it's loose.
Look at his reaction.
Yeah, because it's a massive decision, isn't it? Like, these two teams are at the bottom end of the table, fight for it. That's a decisive moment, and yes, his two hands are on it. Yes, he has a ball. He loses control of it, and it's back in play then. So, look at
decisions like that are season defining.
Do you know what? I feel sorry for the refs, right? Because the way it's written is, if their hands on the ball and they follow the letter law, whoever writes these rule books, we need to have a summer course where we just tweak a few things, because that's a goal. You know, it's like, look, Lamina gets there, Sarr comes out. I think Munoz does brilliant just to kind of affect that, so he can actually grab it cleanly. And Mateta's got a tap in 3-2. Brilliant, really good. And I actually thought he played really well. There's no way that's under control.
It's almost like you need to judge each moment individually. Yeah. You can't just have a blanket rule in a way for something like that, because when you watch it, you're right, there isn't much control there.
No, there he does have two, but then he gives it away, and it's like...
Goes behind his hand, doesn't it?
If me and Owen are like going for a tackle, you have to be strong. So just because you have your hands on it, you still have to be strong in your movement to control it, to have it. And he doesn't, he kind of lets it go. So then it's back in play.
I think that rule came in because, you know, back in the day, you'd see goalkeepers have the ball and then somebody would kick it out.
Yes.
That I completely understand. That, to me, is completely different.
And that you can see for yourself, can't you, if
yeah.
it has happened?
I'm amazed they look at it and think how they haven't, you know, made a different decision, because if the ball is still rolling, which it is on the whole clip, there's no way it's under control. So Surprise one, but in a way, 2-2 was probably a fair result. But I'm sure over Glasner and Crystal Palace will be furious on the way home. It'll be a long drive, or they can kind of simmer over it.
Yeah, a lot to think about on that drive back. Fair result in the end for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my whole half-time and end analysis has been on the lack of quality. I don't think either team really had it enough to win. So, yeah, I'd say 2-2 was a fair result. We were saying how bizarre the game was. You know, the control, the passing, the sloppiness, and surprised that it did end 2-2 in the 98 minutes and plus.
And I think many of us going into the game thought from Wolves' perspective they would just make a little bit more of this opportunity, finally against a team where it felt like a winnable game for them.
Yeah, and you could tell the frustration on the crowd, and I think that's why there were quite a lot of boos, because it was one of them where you think it could have been a winnable game. I mean, I almost have to disagree with Strand Larsen, where he said, you know, we were frustration on the crowd, and I think that's why there were quite a lot of boos, because it was one of them where you think it could have been a winnable game. I mean, I almost have to disagree with Strand Larsen, where he said, you know, we were by far the better team. You weren't. You know, Palace had more chances, more shots, and probably could have won the game at the end of the game. But I understand they are a good footballing side, and they do try and play Gomez and Cunha. But I just think that crowd could feel they're missing something, and that's why they were booing. So, in the end, I think Wolves did really well just to get a point, actually.
Gary O'Neill's substitutions made an impact, though, for them, didn't they?
Yeah, Lamina, Guedes, Bellegarde come on. And, you know, when they came on then, there started to be more of an impetus and a bit more energy and also a bit more strength, certainly in the midfield areas. And the 2 goals came after those substitutes, that key period for Wolves to get back into the game. But Lamina, for me, made a big difference. And Guedes then with his decision-making as well was pretty strong.
It was, wasn't it? Well, let's have a look back at the goals. We didn't see any in the first half, did we? But in the second half, there were 4 scored. Trevor Chalobah opened the goal scoring. What a finish.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's a nice work free kick. You know, Hughes hits into a dangerous area. And it's just, you know, it's a mistake from Sarr. I think he wants to come and claim it. You see Chalobah highlighted there at the back post. Sarr wants to come claim it. And I think Strand Larsen just takes it off him, which he'd be absolutely furious about. But take nothing away from the finish from Chalobah. He missed an absolute sitter in the first half. That one was 100 times harder. And he just, you know, takes a touch, sets it beautifully for a centre-back. That's a clean, on the half volley, that's a great finish.
What about the goalkeeper's role in that whole situation?
I was just thinking about that. I was thinking about the decision we spoke about at the end of the game and then him coming out there. At not one moment do I think commanding goalkeeper, whether it be that when he slid on his hands or whether that then he came out. You know, you can maybe see him at the end screaming from the other angle, but at no point does he come out and I'm thinking, is he calling for it? No, you actually see him call for it there.
He actually shouts at Strand Larsen after, doesn't he, when he took it off him.
What's he meant to do? If it's landed on the defender's head, or the striker's head in that instance, he's got to clear it. But for me, the goalkeeper, Sarr, there has not looked in control at all today.
Well, then there was the equaliser. We heard from Larsen. Let's just see his goal. This was only 4 minutes later, the 4th goal for him this season. That's 3 in his last 4, Owen. Yeah,
and to be fair, it's a brilliant ball from Brain. A good switch. Chalobah, you can't not win this ball. And if you don't, then you've got a foul. It's a really poor decision from him. Brilliant ball from Cunha. In the end, I thought Strand Larsen probably took a touch when he probably shouldn't have carried. He probably could have dinked it, but Chalobah, they just got to stay in behind him. You know, it makes it so easy. I love that ball from Cunha. So easy for him. And a tidy finish for him.
I'm laughing because this guy now, Cunha, has been your favourite player. Every time he's touched the ball in the green room, you'd be like, Cunha, he's just made a difference. But great passing, you're right. That extra touch there from Larsen, you're thinking, oh no, especially Henderson came out a few moments earlier and had a good block, but he certainly finished it well there. And you're thinking, OK, we've got a game on our hands now.
Yeah, and then it got better for Wolves, didn't it, with João Gomez scoring. This is his first goal since February, and it definitely got the crowd back.
Yeah, this was class. What a turn from Lamina. Absolutely brilliant. Great ball into, guess who?
Your favourite player?
Cunha. Brilliant. Really good ball. And the way to pass from Guedes there in Gomez, that's lovely. Just first time passing. And we said before, and Strand Larsen said, they're a good footballing side, they are. And this, when you see it like this, these guys are ball players. But, you know, they got to be a little bit more clinical. I love this goal. First time football, passes it into the net. Fantastic goal.
To be fair, again, that's probably the one bit of quality in the 90-odd minutes plus that we saw where Wolves really pulled Palace apart, and certainly in the midfield areas, when you pull them apart, they struggle to get close to you. But one touch finish, brilliant play from Wolves and a really tidy finish.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And at this point, you just think, you're going to hold on. Surely you'll hold on. At home, you've got the crowd behind you. But Palace struck to equalise, and it was Mark Gurhey with the goal, the captain. Buenos leaves some space at the back there, though, doesn't he? The back post.
Yeah, I mean, we saw set pieces on. You know, if my teammates used to always say, if you get a near post flick, somebody be a free at the back post. Everybody ball watches, and Gahey just drifts into that back post area. Simple tapping. Yeah, I mean, there were so many mistakes in that game, but Gahey just gambles to be there, and he got what they deserve, Palace. At least the draw was the least they deserved.
Well, we saw that Oliver Glasner looked very, very frustrated, didn't he, at times, especially at the end when Palace's goal was disallowed. So let's get the Crystal Palace's boss's thoughts. Here he is, Oliver Glasner.
Oliver, it's been a 3-game week for you. You've come out unscathed. Let's assess your performance from your perspective here this evening.
I'm very proud of the team and of the players, how they performed today. It was in 6 days the third game, and Tottenham and Villa and now here at Wolves. And I think the only thing what we can be angry with us is that we didn't decide the game when we could decide it. So I think we should take the lead at before halftime. After scoring the 1-0, we had 2 great chances, and then being all of a sudden being down 2-1, and then it's a lot of respect to the players, because then you could see they were tired. The squad is really very tight at the moment, and then coming back again, and I think at the end we were closer to win the game than to lose it. So I'm really proud how we performed today.
You mentioned those chances today, but just after you take the lead, as you allude there, Sarr has 2 really good chances. Was that the moment that you could have finished this game?
Yes, and also I think right before halftime, also after a set play, we knew that Wolves struggled with set play, so we scored 2 amazing goals. But I think the easiest one would have been in the first half, also when Mark gets the ball back into the middle, and we miss it, I don't know, 3 yards in front of the goal, and we had a great opportunity with Will as well. And yes, and if we have so many chances in an away game, let's say 5-6 clear chances, you should. And you have the lead, you should decide it. But it's not that to blame anybody, because really the players, we could see at the end, they were really tired after this very intense week. So it happens. We know we are in the right pathway. We showed again that we want to win. Also, when we had the lead, just we could say then we go back a little bit. What we tried to play forward. We tried to win the ball high. This in one situation disallowed the goal to the Wolves, but this is how we want to play. So really everything okay today.
Right at the end there, I think you and Jean-Philippe Mateta thought you'd won the game. Have you had a chance to look at that again, and what's your thoughts on it? The referee obviously disallows it. VAR back up that decision.
I could see it, yes, and maybe it's a 50-50 decision. But I think when we can see how the referee whistled during the game, so many duels, he continued the game and didn't whistle a foul. So I think how he did today, it wouldn't have been a foul. But to be honest, it was a 50-50 decision for me. And then it was that the VAR can't take it back. But I think on the other side, if the referee allows it, like he whistled the whole 100 minutes, I think the VAR wouldn't have taken it back. And for me, even more questionable was the hand from Dawson, because it was clear that the ball goes to the hand, and this Miller runs one on the keeper. For me, this is a situation where the VAR has to intervene, because it's a clear red card. And so I think we are this season not really lucky with a referee's decision, but again, we can't influence it. I just want to mention it, and what we can do better is that we decide the game with the chances we had in the right moment. Football is always also a game about momentum, and when you have the momentum on your side, then you should use it. This we didn't do good enough, but we go home with a 2-2, so everything fine.
Well, Oliver Glasner is pretty fair in his account there, saying it was a 50-50 decision. The Premier League Match Centre's just tweeted this, saying the referee's call of no goal was checked and confirmed by VAR, as Sarr was considered to be in control of the ball, which was between his hand and the ground. I'm to hear from the manager, Gary O'Neill, very shortly. But we talked at the top of the show about the fixture list that they've had. And Owen, it's been so tough for them. Do you think the expectations were high, obviously, coming into this against Crystal Palace, because it's probably the easiest on paper in a run of very difficult games. But is it going to take time for them to restore their confidence a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great point, Seema, because confidence is a huge thing, not only in football, but in any sport. And when you concede the most goals in the Premier League, that's a problem. So confidence takes a hit. You feel like goals are coming. You know, you lose your captain in Max Kilman, who went to West Ham, who's been a big one for them. So I think there's just been a lot of issues, I think, for Gary and this team. Obviously, the fixtures don't help, and they try and play. I think in every game I've watched them, they played pretty well, but they pretty much lost every game. The only one they got absolutely smashed in was against Chelsea. But there's some huge games for them coming up, and also winnable games. You know, you look at that, you think Southampton, Fulham, Bournemouth. Well, maybe not Bournemouth the way they're playing, but Everton. There's games there you think they're going to get points and they should win. But the one thing I would say is the crowd sounded pretty frustrated with the current situation, and that is always very tricky for the manager.
It is, isn't it? A more favourable run of fixtures, as you've seen up until Christmas, Karen, for them.
They are, but you've still got to put in performances and defend properly and give yourself the best opportunity. But you're looking at their, you know, Everton, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton, all they're in amongst you. It's not like favourable. You have to get results against them. It's like a non-negotiable, because ultimately they're chasing everybody else. So you can't let that pack get away from you. You know, the bottom of the table there. And look, that's saying you're never too good to go down, and you can't keep looking at the next fixture, and hopefully your luck will turn. You have to produce that yourself. And I think Owen makes a good point there, is you have to defend better, because you've seen that they can score. You can see they can get something out of games. But if you keep defending in the manner that you do and giving the ball over, those turnovers, those sloppy passes, higher up the table, they'll just keep punishing you.
Karen, that 3 points from 10 games, 3 from 30, I mean, that is dreadful. And they're actually a good side, Wolves. I think they play some really good stuff. But if you think 3 from 30, it's like, wow. I mean, and we got a lot of good, you know, Wolves got a lot of good players in their side, so the return needs to be better. And I think the thing is as well, they've been in every game, and then you're losing or not getting results in every game. Today is probably a plus for them, because Palace could have easily won that game. So, you know, you don't often see that after 10 games.
No, and any team that has been in that position with that fewer points after 10 games has gone on to be relegated. But you do look at the other teams around them, and based on, as Owen said, the quality of the individuals in the team, you would expect them to have enough to stay up, but they just need to start converting those performances into points.
I get that, but I've been worried for them for a while. You know, last season they were defensively good. They had Neto on the break, and they just had something. There's something very different. There's a different feel there this year. And when you have minus 13 goals, for me, sort that out. You know, I know you said they've been in the game and they play nice football. I agree with that. But we've seen Burnley play nice football. Southampton have played nice football, and we criticise them. At the end of the day, you're bottom of the table. To be fair to the owners and the board, they've gone, look, we're realistic with the fixtures that we've had, but this now run until Christmas. Realistically, I don't care how well you play, I have to get more points. We're on 3. That has to change for us now in the run-up to Christmas.
And the finger will start to be pointed at the manager, of course. It always does. We've seen what's just happened with Man United.
Yeah, and especially if you're playing teams in a relegation battle, in and around you, and you don't win them, there's no hiding place. So I think Gary Neal did a brilliant job last year, but they need to step it up big time.